Yeah.
So we create the money that we can trust. We can fix it now and have prayer.
DJ's gonna go out and competition, it makes it more like that, but you. It's starting to.
Most of it. I already did that.
No, she's called. She gonna call. Right. It's an
Good morning. Morning, Gary.
Kristen McLaughlin.
So, it's so.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Tim Sue, so ask you to please rise to the table. So we can pledge allegiance to the meeting. Dear Heavenly Father, reflect the incoming meeting on the birthday of our nation. Desired throughout the world. You have blessed us with great freedoms in our land. Lord, we praise and thank you for those freedoms. Let's not take them for granted and always protect them. Remember them, many who have fought and died for those freedoms, those that are currently serving, are pleased to protect us. Pray for all our leaders. We ask that you help them to find unity, not division and strife. Father, may we look upon you as Independence Day. Learn to be more dependent on you. We know our accomplishments as a great nation make it possible through you, so we give you the glory for our great land. We ask you for your guidance over our meeting this day. Same company ask in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. At this time, we'll be meeting Commissioner Colors meeting. Now for approval of this, the previous meeting.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Aye. Public comment on agenda items only at this time. Hearing none, we'll move on to bid openings. Thank you. Pardon, we have a little first, I'm sorry. Here.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I want to thank Mary Rose from your office for scheduling this this brief recognition first, so we can get the group back over to the business that they have to take care of. So thank you. These two awards, Job Well Done Awards, JWDs, we call them at the county level, are given for extraordinary effort by employees of the county in the various departments and offices. And this particular circumstance involved the mock DUI crash at the Williamsport High School. We used to do those about every third year. It cycled like, maybe you remember, it cycled like it was the sophomores, juniors, seniors, I believe, and it cycled every third year, so the next group could get it rather than do it every year because it's a very intensive program. And what it entails is a mock crash that involves several county departments involving patients and moulage, victims, fire rescue, EMS. There's cars that are placed in one of the parking lots, and they stage it as an actual crash where they do extrication, remove patients, law enforcement gets involved. And the theme of the crash is that there's substance involved, typically alcohol involved, and someone creates a crash who is under the influence and gets arrested as a high school student. As a mock crash, it's nice that it's controlled and it's all just a mock situation, but in real life, it happens far too often. And that's why that program has been done for probably 20 years or more, because the number of fatalities that we see, and we read it in the paper, get into prom season, and the kids go out and they drive. And I've said it many times, bad things happen to good people. Maybe never had a blemish on their record, youngster, never ever in trouble. And they get themselves in a horrible situation where now they're facing not just probation. As you know, Commissioner Metzger, from being in probation, you don't just face probation when you cause the death of another and you're under the influence, because it's a mandatory prison term, and typically it's a mandatory state prison term. This program that was put together this year was done by the young man at Community Arts Center, Miller. Somebody help me. I think his name is Miller. He was actually the director, producer of the program. And our office got involved when they needed officers to assist. And it was short notice. Officers that were supposed to be assigned were not available. And the call came that week, like Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday for that weekend. And I believe it was the production that you two were involved in. Was it on a Sunday? Do you recall? So the two officers, the two deputies, these two deputies, Deputy Reagan and Spiegel, agreed to take their Sunday and be part of this production. And it wasn't just a 15-minute production. It is a production where they're staging and they're doing, certain functions, field sobriety, eventually the arrest of the defendant. And they spent most of the day there, all in the effort of trying to save our youth and teach our youth not to make bad decisions. And all the processes are put together, and then the actual production is shown in the auditorium, where the student population is there, the student body, and then the public and interested parties. And I believe you can find it probably on YouTube if you would look at it. And it's very realistic, and it's a very, very good production to help not have to use Coroner Kiesling and his staff. And these two deputies took the time with about 2 days notice or 3 days notice. There's no doubt they had plans. The weekend was coming in, and they took the time and spent their whole day to help protect our youngsters. And they would be Deputy Shana Reagan and Cody Spiegel. And if I think Commissioner Sorben has a certificate, do you two want to come up here, please?
I'm just going to read the certificate that's being presented to both of these deputies. So the certificate itself, and it's the Lycoming County, the County of Lycoming presents to both Deputy Reagan and Deputy Spiegel the Job Well Done Award. This is in recognition of his and her steadfast dedication, commitment, work ethic, and willingness to go above and beyond his and her job duties to assist others. And it's signed the 3 Lycoming County Commissioners, Scott Metzger, Chairman, Mark Sorman, Vice Chairman, Mark Messina, Secretary. We're very honored because, we had a meeting earlier in this week with our department heads, reminding them that one of the biggest things we can do is thank people for their job and the jobs that they do. So we are very happy to be able to thank you guys for a job, outstanding job. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. To do a job well done training to go above and beyond is exceptional, but to do it to help protect our youth is even another step. Be over and beyond. So we want to thank you and you don't know through your training and helping them, you don't know how many lives were saved, but every minute that you worked in that training, it was worthwhile. And this is a great program that's been about 20 years, I think.
That has been, I'm thinking.
Yeah, and it just makes that youth who could be pressured into a situation think twice. Think, no, I don't want to do that because this could have a bad result. And so we want to thank you for taking your weekend and doing that. And we encourage you to continue to do your jobs and measure that you've been doing so far. So thank you for your leadership.
Yeah, again, I'd like to thank you. And I'm not surprised that that we're giving this today for the year and a half that I've been here. But I'm not just saying this sounds like I'm blowing sunshine because you guys are here, but I have been totally impressed with the professionalism, the dedication of the sheriff's office. We never hear that something needs done, but we don't have people that are willing to do it. And to hear that you had 2 people in your office that were willing to donate a Saturday to help our youth. And again, maybe save 1 life, maybe save more. Who knows? We'll never know. But it doesn't surprise. It is a reflection of the office of our sheriff's office, and we are grateful for what you guys do and the way you do it. We really are. So thank you and thank you.
Thank you. Both deputies will receive the certificate that Mr. Thorman read, a letter for your file and a job well done. And on behalf of myself and Chief Spiegel, you guys went above and beyond, and that's what this is all about. So Deputy Reagan was if she was going to make a speech, and I ordered her to make a speech, she is fluent in Spanish. She actually helps adult probation and she helps law enforcement when they need to have Spanish connection. She was going to make a speech in Spanish.
No, I was not.
You said that, she looked like a deer in headlight, like, no.
So thank you.
Like to get a picture of everybody?
That's fine, sure.
Okay, great, thank you.
Oh, just the picture. There's a picture. Okay.
Count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
My only question is do you have to have the last name of Spiegel to get into the sheriff's office?
It's a requirement.
All right. I mean, you have to be Mark to get most of the jobs here.
That's right.
I didn't know.
That's a better name.
It's right after the PT test.
He's all in, we're on fire.
Okay, see you with us.
Yes.
Oh, the copy of this for the file too.
Okay. Nikki.
Good morning. We had 1 bid due for lubrication products. We did receive 2 bids, one from Safety Clean Systems and one from Petro Choice. And those are multi-line bids. So they'll be reviewing those.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving on to reports.
And Commissioners, presented for your ratification are invoices due through July 2nd, 2025, to be paid on June 25th, 2025, in the amount of $1,534,782.50. That's 60.09% out of the general fund, 33.92% out of other grants, 5.99 out of RMS.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Is there any questions or comments on the accounts payable? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you.
All right, moving forward, information items. The first item, 5.1, is me. Just to acknowledge the county will be requesting bids for the repair of fire restrictive coating located at Third Street Plaza Building.
Okay, that's for the first floor.
That's correct.
Should be the build out of the registering quarters.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, 5.2 is Jamie.
Morning, Jamie.
Morning. Does anyone need a copy of this project?
Nope. Thank you.
Sure. So this morning, we're doing a review of the projects that were submitted for your 2025 Community Development Block Grant Program. There were a total of 11 projects submitted. These are in an order of which I thought would be most reasonable for funding consideration as we move forward, just for your information. The American Rescue Workers did submit for the replacement of severely deteriorated sidewalks for 2 sides of their shelter. The estimated cost would be $80,600. They average helping 125 persons every year. They have received funding in previous years for building renovations. Montgomery Borough did ask for funding for what they're calling the Park Loop rehabilitation, which is the rehabilitation of streets damaged by repeated flooding and heavy use around their park. First Street and Ellis Parkway. It would be an eligible project as a street improvement. The price will increase because there will be requirements associated with paving in the floodway. Of course, Montgomery's Park is in the floodway. They do have 53.8% low to moderate income according to the American Community Survey. So therefore it does qualify under the LMI National Objective. There are 635 households in the borough and they have received funding in the past for the Carnival Grounds project. Picture Rocks Borough has asked for funding to make improvements at their tennis courts and convert one of those courts to a pickleball court. They are currently undertaking a demographic survey to determine if they have 51% or more LMI in the borough. The project would be eligible as a Parks and Recreational project, and the final cost would increase some based on actual Davis-Bacon. The estimate is $60,700. There are 260 households in the borough, and I'm not aware of Picture Rocks receiving funding in the past. Lycoming County Water and Sewer Authority put in for a couple of projects. First, to continue their work in Limestone, it's the Quarry Road water main replacement, aging undersized pipes causing reduced pressure and water leaks. The water main replacement is eligible as a water sewer improvement project. A demographic survey will be completed to determine if 51% or more of the residents of the 10 households in that service area meet the LMI threshold. It appears to be affordable with 1 year of CDBG funding at an estimate of $157,100. Again, there's 10 households. They are also looking at applying for possible PennVest funding at the end of this year, and they have received funding in the past for their Route 44 water main project. The second project they applied for is the Shed Road project, same scope of work for, again, 10 households in that area. The estimate for that one is $257,100. Again, it's eligible as a water sewer improvements, and they're going to do a demographic survey of those households to see if it meets the 51% or more low to moderate income threshold. This one may be affordable with 1 year of funding, depending on, where the bids would come in. The West Branch Regional Authority has requested funding once again for sewer lateral connections along Route 54. Construction of sewer laterals is a eligible expense under single unit residential improvements. It's fundable based on low to moderate national objectives. So that would require intakes of the specific households to determine that the specific household does meet that LMI threshold. They are looking to help 6 households in this, and they have gotten funding for sewer laterals in the past. A third project that the Lycoming County Water and Sewer applied for is the Oval Loop project on State Route 44. same scope, and this one would also create redundancy. The estimate is $258,700. This one is just a little lower on the list because the demographic survey has 28 households instead of 10, so it would take a little longer to get done. And again, they are looking at applying for PetVest funding. Du Bois Town has asked for funding for the Gordon Street Sewer Stormwater Project, replacement of stormwater pipes, inlets, sanitary sewer, manholes, and then replacement of the paving on the street. This is a high-cost project at $800,000 with a request of CDBG for $651,900. There are 14 households in the service area. And replacement of the old, of course, it does qualify again as water sewer improvements. They would have to do a demographic survey to determine if the area meets the LMI benefit. Obviously, this one would require multiple years of commitment or securing additional funding. Again, it's just a little lower on the list right now because of the need for all of the additional funding. They're looking at putting their liquid fuels in towards the paving, and they had received money for sewer lateral repairs in the past. A couple of projects that I don't believe qualify for CDBG funding, but were submitted. It's the American Legion Post 51. They've asked for funding to replace their kitchen hood. You may be able to spin this as a job creation project, but that is, I'm stretching it. I'm not sure I would go that route if I was you. But I think we could do it as a rehabilitation of a privately owned commercial facility. Sojourn Truth Ministries asked for roof replacement and installation of the sanctuary. They did not actually provide the official project summary form, so I don't have a lot of this information. I think it would be an eligible project, but it would be determining who they're actually serving and how we would qualify that in the end. But again, they did not actually submit the project summary form. That was just an inquiry that was received. And then the last one I got was the McHarris Realty Group for Willow Walk Park, creating retail gathering space and apartments. It's quite a high level cost at $952,800. They submitted it as an elimination of slum and blight. It may qualify as private rehab, private owned commercial. We can only use slum and blight funds to address the detrimental conditions, the health and safety. So we wouldn't be able to do the entire renovation with CDBG under slum blight, and development of luxury apartments would not be an eligible use for CDBG funding. Happy to take any questions. All right, that's what I have for you today. Thank you.
Right, Mike?
Good morning.
Morning.
Elected official personnel actions in the courts, MDJ Gardner, Clarissa Straub, Magisterial District Court Administrative Specialist, pay grade 5, full-time, $15.75 per hour at 75 hours per pay period. Anticipated start date, July 7, 2025. In the District Attorney's Office, Aisha Khalid, Legal Assistant, pay grade 4, full-time, $15.0176 per hour, 75 hours per pay period. Anticipated start date, July 7th, 2025. It's good to note she was a intern with the Public Defender's Office last year, so she came back for more. Also in the District Attorney's Office, Maya K. Bartman, Legal Assistant, pay grade 4, full-time, $15.162 per hour, 75 hours per pay period. Anticipated start date, July 7th, 2025. In the Sheriff's Office, Ryan Ransom, Deputy Sheriff, Union, full-time at $22.28 per hour, 80 hours per pay period. Anticipated start date, June 30th, 2025. And also in the Sheriff's Office, this is a promotion. Eric Wolfgang, Deputy Sheriff First Class. This is a union part-time, 26.763 cents per hour, 80 hours, or not to exceed 1,000 hours per pay period. Effective date, May 5, 2025.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
This time recess Commissioners Public Meeting for the Salary Board, and we're convening salary boards this time.
Morning, Commissioners. The first item I have is to vote to approve the salary board minutes from the June 12th, 2025 meeting.
I will make that motion. I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, in DPS, remove the part-time telecommunicator 2 position from the TDA.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
In the Commissioner's Office, reclassify the Director of Operations Manager from a pay grade 12 to a pay grade 13.
And initially that was at a 15. So we had dropped it to a 12. We thought we were best to bring it back up to a grade 13. So that has actually dropped 2 pay grades from originally when that person held the position.
Yes.
Okay, so motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye. And last, I have in the prison, increase the starting pay of the nurse supervisor to $39 per pay. Or per hour, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That'd be a great pick.
That would be a great deal for us.
A motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we'd struggle to get applicants.
We would. Yeah.
Okay. We'll adjourn salary board this time. We can read the commissioner's public meeting. Personnel actions, Mike.
All right, good morning again. Approve the following personnel actions as conditional offers of employment, subject to the successful completion of a background check and all other employment conditions outlined here in attachment A. Just got the one in facilities management, Billy Collins, custodial worker, pay grade 3, full-time at 13.944 cents per hour, 75 hours per pay period with an anticipated start date July 7, 2025.
A motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
All right, moving forward, action items, 8.1, Mike, again.
Yeah, this is vote to approve the revision to policy 1205 agricultural commodities. Basically, it updated the language to take out the county farmer, being that is no longer applicable.
A motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
On fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Just to add that the county farm has been progressing nicely. We have crops planted out there. We have a farm committee that's overseeing it. We're in the process right now of looking at selling the house, and we have a subdivision going on out there right now, trying to divide the corner lot from the house so we can sell them separately. But we look to have that done sometime in late summer and hopefully have it on the market sometime in early fall. So gentlemen, want to add anything to that? But we're very pleased with the farm committee and the recommendations they brought to us, and it's been progressing rather nicely. And we want to thank those volunteers for their time, dedication to working on this farm, which is the only one in the state.
Only one left in the state, and to compliment what Commissioner Metzger said, I mean, the committee has done a great job at turning that around. The barn is cleaned up and nice inside for once. Whether they have anything to do with the crops growing well, we'll give that to God that he's got those crops growing well out there. But they are looking at other things. You know, we talked about Montoursville School District a couple years back, wanted to do some beehives out there. And it seems like beehives are becoming a very popular, needed thing in our world, not just here in America. So looking at doing some enhancements out there that also will do additional training, because if you're going to have a farm, you should utilize it to train your upcoming farmers, not just to have a farm. So it's making great progress.
And what's nice is up there is the farm's going to be educational, and then we can go right up into the gardens up there with the master gardeners. What they've done up there is absolutely beautiful. The walking trail up there. It's a great place for kids to learn about the outdoors and the education of farming.
We are lucky to have our committee because we're not farmers, and they've done a wonderful job, and we're lucky they came forward just for the good of the county, because they've really turned the operation around.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, Nikki.
Okay, Commissioners, I have for your approval of the audit engagement letter with Baker Tilly for the 2024 audit and single audit in the amount of $105,300 plus administrative costs. This is not a budgeted item. However, I have spoke with Maya regarding contingent funds for this.
Okay. Your goal is to have this completed by the end of the year.
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Things are progressing nicely with your office and financial and their department, and everybody's been working together very, very hard
Mhm.
to get things caught up. So we want to thank everybody in those departments. Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side. Aye.
All right, 8.3 and 8.4 is Jamie.
Hello again, Jamie.
Anybody need copies of either of the resolutions?
Good, thank you. We have one in our packet.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first is the resolution to appoint Michael Hagan as the Lycoming County Section 504 Compliance Officer. Because the county receives federal funds through the CDBG program, and it's a statutory requirement under 24 CFR Part 8 from 1988 to implement Section 504 of the Rehab Act of 1973. Therefore, you are required to designate a 504 compliance officer who will serve as your county's representative for any and all complaints regarding this code of federal regulations and adopt a grievance procedure. Public outreach and consultation with interested parties to solicit input and feedback regarding compliance with administrative rules and regulations of Section 504 is done every year as part of your CDBG citizen participation. Therefore, be it resolved at this meeting that Michael Hagan is designated as your 504 compliance officer and that you've adopted a grievance procedure regarding accessibility to all Lycoming County owned facilities and programs.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side. Aye.
Okay. And the second one on the agenda today is the CDBG home program procurement policy. This is a policy the county has had in place for many years for its CDBG program. It needs to be readopted today because there are a couple new provisions added. So next to the last page there, G procurement conflict of interest has been added. That basically states you'll have written standards of conduct covering conflict of interest and governing actions of your employees engaged in selection, award, and administration of contracts. And then the whistleblower protection has also been added, which states that the county must not be discharged. Any employee of the county must not be discharged, demoted, or otherwise discriminated against as a reprisal for disclosing to a person or body described in paragraph A2 of 41 USC 4712, information that the employee reasonably believes is evidence of gross mismanagement of a federal grant contract, a gross waste of federal funds, an abuse of authority relating to a federal contract or grant, a substantial and specific danger to public health or safety, or violation of a law, rule, or regulation related to a federal contract, including the competition for or negotiation of a contract or grant.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye.
Thank you very much. If you'll excuse me, I have to move on to my next thing today.
Okay, thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
And have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. Kristen, you're up.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
The first action item that I have for you is amendment number 3 to the subrecipient agreement with the Hughesville Borough Authority. These 3 actions are all ARPA funding, and this action is just to amend the termination date of the agreement from June 1st, 2025 until December 31st, 2025. There is no change in the amount for projects being funded.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye.
Aye.
The next amendment is an amendment to subrecipient agreement between the county and Greater Lycoming Habitat for Humanity. This is also just an amendment of the termination date from June 1st, 2025 until December 31st, 2025.
Okay, motion to accept.
Again, no change in amount.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye.
And the next action is amendment number 4 to the subrecipient agreement between the county and Lycoming County Water and Sewer Authority. This has 2 components. One is to change the termination date from June 30th, 2025 until June 30th, 2026. And the second is to reallocate approximately $25,000 from the $2,500, $2,500 from the Beaver Lake Sewer System Grinder Pump Replacement Project. That will be changed from $40,000 to $37,498.55. And Those funds will be moved to their Schoolhouse Road Critical Loop project, the budget for that will now change to $201,238.17. There's no increase in the amount of funding overall under this agreement. It is just moving money.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yep, have a good day.
All right, 8.8, Forest.
Morning, Forrest.
Morning. This is a quote from Clear Ballot that requires approval and a signature. It's to purchase external storage drives. This is a component of the voting system. So even something as simple as an external hard drive, it has to be a specific model that's certified at the federal and the state level that we're allowed to use in conjunction with the system. And they're just to store our election data. So we have a backup.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And Forrest, how's your new storage area on the first floor?
It's going really well.
Good.
It was ready in time for the primary in May. And that whole process went very smoothly. We've got enough space now for all the voted ballots that come back. You know, it was one of the things that when all the counties in the state had to update their voting systems 6 or 7 years ago, one of the new parts of that is that we're all using paper ballots, and that adds a physical dimension that, you know, everybody had to deal with because you're printing these ballots. So now what do you do with them at every step along the way? You've got to bag them up, send them out. They're coming back. They're getting stored. So we had to deal with that. And that storage space is already working out very well. And maintenance did a fantastic job on it.
Okay, great news. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate
And let me say also on the sheriff's deputies, they do a fantastic job for us for election security. They go above and beyond every single cycle. You know, they do traffic and security for the election night operation. You know, when we ask them, hey, we need security for when we're doing a recount, we're pre-canvassing mail ballots, they send someone over. You know, we've even had them, I remember in the run up to the presidential election last year when we had 100 people lined up down the hallway almost every day, you know, getting mail ballots. You know, they were keeping an eye on all of that. So they've always been there for us on the election side when we needed them, and it's much appreciated.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, Beth Baylor, 8.9.
Beth, you with us? She's not. Can you handle that?
Yep.
Okay.
I can. Vote to approve the sublease agreement with Clayton County 911 for use of our pump station radio tower. This is just a renewal that we have in place.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, sign.
Aye.
Aye.
Do we get a payment for this or it's just something we do?
There are certain ones that are
For the-
payment. I can't recall if this one is one of them. I feel like there may be. Hold on, let me check. Sorry, let me.
That's right.
Rental. This one is a no rental charge.
Hey, Gary, you're next.
Yeah, action item 8.10 is vote to approve the transfer station permit voting paperwork. And basically what that is DEP just changed their paperwork. So we have to do a new paperwork for the financial bonding of the transfer station.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
8.11 through 8.13 is Leslie.
Morning,
Good morning,
Leslie.
Commissioners. Good morning, Maya.
Morning.
8.11, Commissioners, we're seeking your approval to sign into a contract with Comcast Communications. This would be a 3-year contract for the coroner's building, for the new building down on Wahoo Drive. This would allow them 5 phone numbers. One of them is going to be a fax number, 1 device to watch TV on one TV, and then internet for their building. and I do apologize, it does say it's a 2025 approved budget, but I'm not, this isn't a capital, so I'm
Right.
not sure if it actually is.
No, I don't think it is.
Okay, because I don't
haven't
see the operating budget.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it was or not, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. I know we budgeted for the IT equipment in the capital, but I'm not sure about services.
When will this go into place, Leslie?
We would submit
Building's
it.
not gonna Get done in 2026 anyhow. Are we gonna be in there prior to that?
End of November is when it was projected.
Yeah, and
Well,
last
sometime
we
in
heard
November.
was October, and I know that got pushed.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't want to submit this until probably 6 weeks prior. So yeah.
So in all reality of budgeting, we can get into 2026 budget.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
We only
yeah.
have about maybe a month in the 2025.
Right.
You and I have a meeting with you guys this this
Yeah.
morning. Yeah.
Right.
We can just make sure that it gets
Gets in there.
added. Yeah. And I know Maya and I've worked on this. She does have all the figures and the numbers and everything. The only thing, there is a one-time charge. It's well, okay, so let me keep going. So it's $404.49 a month. That's for 3 years, and a one-time fee of $129.95. That's just for installation.
So it's roughly $5,000 a year. And before their internet service and TV, I don't understand the TV.
So the TV fees, I think it was $12. Okay, so the TV box was $12. So it's on page 2 of 6. So they're the charges for TV. Basically, basic TV is $65.95. The equipment charge is $11.95. And then you have your fees. So it comes to $129.95. I did that correctly.
Could I suggest we table this?
Yeah, you table.
I'd like to make a motion to table 8.11 for the Comcast agreement with the Corners building until we have further investigation of the contract and plan construction finalization date for the Corners office.
Do you see any problems tabling for a short
No,
time?
absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
So we have a motion to table on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye to table.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
All right. 8.12 and 8.13 kind of go hand in hand. So basically, we were told about a month or so ago that Mitel has went bankrupt. And we have quite a bit of phone service from Mitel. So when we're planning the coroner's new building, we're not going to be able to purchase the equipment from Mitel that we need. So that means that we need to go out and look for different vendors, different services, and different hardware. So we have come up with a solution that we think is going to work well for us moving forward. And the start would be for the coroner's build. And these two devices from are going to be just demo units, if you will. And then if they do everything we need them to do, then we would ask for your approval to move forward with switching out the services or our hardware to the new company. And it would be probably an overall project. We wouldn't do that all at once unless we could work with, finance and make that happen. We do actually have a meeting this afternoon with a company to see if we are able to do this, if we can sign into like a 5-year contract price wise that we could pay over 5 years, but do the entire county all at one time. But we're not quite there yet. But so this is just a demo unit for the future of the phone services, phone hardware for Lycoming County. So there's no charge. And there's a device that would be for our offsites, like the MDJ's corner. And then there's the other device that would be the cores. And the demo unit would be for here at TSP.
Okay, are you okay first to vote action item 8.12 and 8.13 together? Since it's
Separately is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do them separately. 8.2. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
And then the second one, is there a motion 8.13?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
All right, 8.14 is Kelsey.
All right, Kelsey.
So I have item 8.14. It's just a vote to approve an agreement with Mountain Environmental and Radon Services. This will be for asbestos inspections of buyout properties, and the total of this is $1,200.
So,
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
all in favor, side?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 8.15 is Kellen.
Morning, Kellen. Welcome back.
So I have approval for cooperative agreement with McIntyre Township for gravel bar removal for county bridge maintenance.
Okay, is there a motion?
I will make the motion. I'll second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
8.16 and 8.17 is Malik.
Morning, Malik.
Commissioners, seeking your approval for the agreement with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for their budget modification for the Brownfield Revolving Loan Fund budget modification.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
Aye.
8.17, seeking your approval for the subrecipient agreement with BRS Incorporated in the amount of $14,102. This is the amount for the contracted services through the duration of the Brownfield program.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and the remainder of the items, 8.18 through 8.22 is me. The first item, 8.18, vote to approve the amendment to the agreement with Frank DiTallo, PhD, ABPP, it's for the Public Defender's Office, and it's for forensic psychology.
Motion?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
Aye. 8.19, vote to approve the agreement with Edward Moss, PhD. This is also for the Public Defender's Office. This is for expert service in neuropsychology as related to the Troy Bailey case.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
Aye.
The next item, 8.20, vote to approve the application for a standby letter of credit under standby letter of credit bond and security agreement. It's with Citizens and Northern Bank. The amount of, well, that's not correct, actually. It's not 40 million. Yes, so if you recall, we did a letter of credit previously for RMS in the amount of $40 million. We're just revising that letter of credit. It is now going to be $33,353,517. And as we recall, we were going to use those other monies for other projects related to RMS.
Solicitor, do we need to address that on the agenda? It's printed 40 million.
Yeah, I would do a motion to think about that.
Okay. I'd like to ask for a motion to amend action item 8.12, so excuse me, 8.20 to read in the amount of $33,353,517. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
There's a second.
I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll second. I'll sec
8.21.
Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
So with that said, is there a motion to accept action item 8.1, 8.2? Oh, can't talk this morning. 8.20.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Sorry about
Okay,
that.
that's all right. Okay, next.
8.21, vote to approve the municipal assistance grant, second amendment with the Department of Community and Economic Development. This is just strictly to extend the termination date to June 30th, 2026.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye.
And the last item, 8.22, vote to rescind the agreement with Larson Design Group for professional survey services in the amount of $7,850.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye.
Aye.
With that, Commissioner comment?
I'm gonna yield my time to Kelsey Green.
Hey, Kelsey, come on up.
Good morning again, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I just wanted to do a quick update on the progress with the levee project we've been working on. The county expects to begin the work on the 23 cross pipes, so that's the phase 2 of the EDA money. Probably the second week of July, we'll get out there and start the inspections and things to start those pipe rehabs. The SQRA, so the semi-quantitative risk assessment done by the Army Corps of Engineers, has been completed and signed off on by everybody. And we're making progress to get the feasibility study started so that we can address the deficiencies that were identified and go about that the best way possible. I do want to say that we've had a great team working on this rehab project lately. I'm very happy we're able to partner with the city and work with them, and things are going phenomenally. And our partners at the local, state, and federal level are going to continue moving this forward and hopefully make some real progress here in the short term.
Great news. Been a long time coming. It's nice to see that things are finally starting to come to where we're going to see some actual work in the field and progress being made.
Yes, I'm very excited for us to break ground on these cross pipes. It's been a very long time. So absolutely. If you guys don't have any other questions then.
No, I just want to thank you for your work on it, the team, and since you've taken this over, it's been moving light years ahead the way it was.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
Since I yielded my time, I hate to say much, but I do appreciate what Kelsey has done. I mean, one of the things that the three of us heard in the last election campaigns was levy, levy, levy. Why is nothing being done? And it took us a year and a half. We did nothing. Kelsey and her team has done it all, but it was, we focused in on it, said it had to get accomplished, had to make some changes within our planning department to make it happen. And we could not be more thankful to Kelsey and her team for getting it done, working with engineers, working with, the red tape you worked with is phenomenal that you've got through it and made things happen. It just goes to show, if you put your mind to something and your eyes on the target, it happens. And we are thrilled to be the three commissioners that can say, finally, there's a shovel in the ground by this summer. So thank you so much.
And we also want to thank, Congressman Buser, Senator McCormick, Senator Fetterman. Those offices have been instrumental in helping us put pressure on these agencies, and we've made phone calls to them, and it seems like when we call them, then the next day we get some good results. So it's not falling on deaf ears down in Washington and their staff, and it's been very instrumental in helping us move things in the right direction. So they'll continue to help us moving forward. So I thank those departments, offices. Anything else?
I was going to say, clearly Sortman doesn't understand what yielding his time means, but we'll have to go over that. This is probably a week late that I thought about this, but I just, it's a very big Little League time in June. It always is. And with all-stars and tournaments and things like that, and us being in the birthplace of Little League, I just want to remind the adults just to be kind to the kids on the other teams, the umpires, the other coaches. I know everyone wants their kids to do well and everyone wants their kids to succeed. But my years through, and Scott still has years through Little League. I had some great experiences, and the camaraderies and the friendships I made with people, with coaches on the other side that I still have. It should not be it should be a serious time. The kids are playing hard. You're trying to win, but it doesn't have to be incredibly intense. We should alleviate as much pressure as possible, because at the end of the day, they're just kids playing a game. And a half hour after it's over, they're all going to be eating ice cream, win or lose. So just as the adults, I just remind people to act like adults and try to control your emotions as best you can. And because the kids will follow your lead, and off, there's a lot of great things that come out of youth sports, and there are a few horror stories, and please don't be one of the horror stories, and remember that again, the kids come first, and they don't have to play great to have a good time. You can have a bad game and still have fun and go swimming and eat ice cream and pizza when it's over. So just try to remember that as best you can, because it's hard sometimes when you're sitting in the crowd to get worked up. Yeah, that's about it.
So a couple Saturdays ago, I believe it's 2, we had Flag Day. It's not a day, it's sandwiched in between Memorial Day and 4th of July. It's a special day. And it's a special day in Lycoming County because our Flag Day March. And it's held up at the college with at the Anthony DeSalvo. This year was the 45th year of the Anthony DeSalvo Flag Day March. And it's a special time to recognize and honor our flag. I had the honor of attending the ceremony, and Repaz band was there, and they played music and the different speakers, and the scouts were there, and just a great time to honor the flag and our services, our military branches. We're very fortunate to have that in our area, and the Salvo family. Anthony was a true patriot. He loved our flag. And the flag outside of Penn College, when you drive down the highway, you see how big that flag is. He was the one that got behind that, got that here, and he's sorely missed. He was a great man. I want to thank them for carrying on his legacy and honoring the flag each year. And we look forward to many more Flag Day ceremonies in years to come. We're coming up on 4th of July. Time to celebrate our freedoms. There's going to be a lot of ceremonies and fireworks involved, and just ask that, especially with the fireworks around kids, that people be careful. They can cause serious burns. If you go to the emergency rooms, they'll tell you about how they see these burns and sometimes lost fingers or hands as a result of mishandling of fireworks, or even worse. So we just ask people to please be careful around the fireworks, and also mind the pets. They don't enjoy the noises, and to be mindful in the neighborhoods of the times when these fireworks are being set off. It's not in the middle of the night or late at night to disrupt your neighbor, disrupt pets. Just be mindful of where they're being set off at, and at the special time. I mean, I remember some years fireworks seem to go on for a week or two after 4th of July, which is inappropriate. So just ask to be careful around them and mindful of your neighbors and pets, especially, and to be extra safe. But to enjoy the holiday. We won't have a meeting next week. There's no commissioners meeting next Thursday, but just please enjoy the holiday and to do it safely. There will be a parade next Thursday at the Williamsport Area Middle School. Last IU does a parade for the kids. They usually do it at Schick School. Not Schick. It's a Schick. Schick. Yeah, they usually do it at Schick School. I was thinking Beck's not there anymore. Schick School, they usually do it there, but they're doing renovations. And so they're doing it at the Williamsport Area Middle School next week. It's a great little parade that they do. patriotic parade. And so we'll be attending that and celebrating the youth up there. And there will be no commissioners meeting next Thursday, and then we'll re-adjourn back on July the 10th. Is there any public comment at this time?
I was just gonna, before we get to that, you mentioned the repast band. I don't know if you know, the repast band is like the longest running consecutive, like they've never broken up band of its kind in the country. Back in the day, in like the 1800s, they played for presidents. The history of the repast band is and it's, if you don't know what repast means, once one of their early directors' last name was Repast, and it was named after him because he kind of, I guess, took it to the next level. So there's no fancy, like it's named after someone. But the history of that is another one of the neat, underknown things of our region.
Wonderful to listen to. They really are a true treasure to have in our community. And I look forward to hearing them each year. So, any public comment from the audience? Any online?
Nothing online.
Okay, so as stated, there's no meeting next week. We'll be re-adjourned on July 10th. Right here in this meeting room, 10 a.m. Thank you, everybody.